Hey guys, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be working on my thermostat. A real common problem that these cars have is some leaking around the thermostat. I have like a little puddle of coolant just underneath it, and the best guess I have is it's coming off that thermostat. Just the seal or the gasket's gone bad, which that just happens. Pretty common issue with this. So we're going to drain some of the coolant out of the car, bring her down, and replace that thermostat and get it. So I try to keep her covered as much as possible. So here we go, guys. You can see kind of right in there that coolant. We've checked all the hoses and everything. I don't have a leak. I haven't ran the engine, so there's no pressure behind this, but I do need to get some of the coolant out just so that it doesn't make a total mess here. So I'll put a catch underneath it, and we'll drain some of the fluid, and then we'll get looking at replacing that thermostat. Okay, not sure how well it's going to come out, but if you look right here, this is the drain plug. If you see it, I got my black gloves right here, but that's the drain for the coolant. Coolant's going to come out. Hopefully I'll get most of it in this bucket here, and I won't create too much of a mess. That's the game plan anyway. And we don't need all of it to come out. We just need it to be able to reduce it down so that it doesn't make a mess all over the place. I mean, no matter what, I'll probably end up mopping and everything else, but that's kind of what we're looking for. So just in the process of removing some coolant into a bucket, pull the cap to relieve some pressure. Obviously you want to do this when your engine's cool. I haven't ran it in a couple days, so that's what I'm doing here. And you can see it's just this little valve right here that tightens up and cools. And so the goal is literally just to get it so that no coolant is in this tube, so it doesn't make a giant mess on you. So for me, I mean, this coolant's fairly new. I could probably just put it back in here when I'm all done. So I just did enough to bring it down low enough that I should be okay, and then tighten it up, and I'm just going to dry everything off to try not to make a mess as I'm working on here, as best as I can at least. So for this project, I got a 1/2-inch wrench, flathead screwdriver, a blade for scraping and cleaning. I've also got like a metal brush that I'll use because I really don't want to jar up the actual housing itself. I've got a new gasket. Here's the number if you want it. And then I also have some water pump and thermostat gasket maker that I'll put on the outside. And I got a new thermostat. I don't even know that the thermostat is bad, but what I think it is just the gasket. It's a cheap part, so I'm like, let's just put a new one in, and we'll kind of go over that once we get it off. So now all we need to do is take this one out and get going. So as I mentioned before, I'm not even sure that it's the gasket. It's really hard to see. So we're just gonna pull this off and take a good look at it, make sure it's not the hose, but anyway I look at it, I only want to have to do this once, and figured I'd do it while I was in here. Got these clamps loose. So because this is so sealed on there right now, I'm basically going to pull that whole housing off and see if I can get a little better twist on it, because that hose is just really stuck on there. But this hose looks to be in pretty good shape. I don't see anything that would be creating that leak, so I still think it's coming from that housing itself and the gasket. So we're just going to go ahead and pull the housing off and see what it is. I want to remove this fuel line, that way I have better access, and I don't want to take any chances of not having that thermostat housing tight enough when I go to put it back on. So figured might as well just do it right the first time. Sometimes a little bit of fuel comes out of here, but I'm replacing this carburetor anyway because I got to send it in to get it rebuilt. Carburetor rebuilding is not something I'm good at. I think I've mentioned before, I'm learning every day. While I've done most of the work myself, the engine I did not, and I just don't want to take the chance of doing anything that could screw it up. So grab just clean up any fuel. And that gives me much better access right in here, which is a good thing. So now you can see I got a lot better access to get in there. So now we just got to see if we can get this hose off. There we go. So definitely needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So I'll clean it up. I'll put it on the bench and see if we can't clean it up, get all this gasket off and try to get it ready for the new one. So the one thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of clean up the outsides here. Try to keep stuff from dripping all over the place. Just kind of clean this up as best as I can. I want to be real cautious not to mark it up or scar it at all, because you can see like that old gasket. That's definitely what the problem was. It was definitely the gasket, because you can see how it was just breaking apart in pieces and it was already kind of ripped and torn. So yeah. And I'm just gonna try to get it all off, and then we're going to use that new gasket and some liquid gasket to really make sure that it's good. So the only other thing I want to finish doing is just getting some of this off and getting it kind of cleaned up a little bit more, just to really get that good seal on it. Just use a wire brush. And then on the housing, I want to do the same thing. I'm going to pull this old one out, and I just want to clean it off. I'm using a razor blade, but I'm using it really gently here. Like I said, I don't want to mark it up, so just kind of going around the outsides, and then I'm going to spray it down and clean it up as well. I could probably use a new housing, but I'm going to be changing my intake manifold and switching over to a 4-barrel carburetor here, hopefully in the near future. I'm definitely not a guy with a ton of money, so everything has to be budgeted and kind of ready to go, and I'm just not there yet. So I kind of want to just wait until I can do it right the first time. So I know I'm going to be replacing that intake, and so if I can keep this one alive for just a little bit longer, then, you know, I'll be a lot better and just switch it out. So I'll finish cleaning this up. I probably will use my wire wheel here in just a minute, try to clean it up a little bit, and we'll get back to you. So the only other thing I want to finish doing is just getting some of this off and getting it kind of cleaned up a little bit more, just to really get that good seal on it. Just use a wire brush. So I think you guys can see it's pretty clean now. I got all the gasket off. I've been able to brush it off. You know, we do have some corrosion on this intake, but like I said, I don't plan on having this intake on there for a super long time. My plan is to switch this out to the 4-barrel with a different intake. So this will just be a temporary situation. And we're ready to put the new thermostat on. So hey guys, as I was mentioning, this housing was actually had some pretty deep nicks and stuff in it that I just wasn't sure. I really think that was probably causing some of the issues as far as the leaking, and so I decided it's a cheap part, let's go ahead and just get a new housing. So I just ran down to my local automotive store and grabbed a new housing. I went ahead and took the thermostat. This is not my idea. I got this off of another YouTuber to drill a hole kind of like a pressure relief so that it allows air to come out when I put this on. I'm going to take a little adhesive, put this on, put the gasket on, which should secure this down so I don't have to worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that now. So a little bit on the gasket, a little bit on the thermostat housing itself. We'll just set that down and give that some time to set. And that should keep that housing from popping out, or the thermostat from popping out. So now it's just kind of stuck right there. As you can see, I've been waiting all day for my new bolts. Here's the part number on them. You can see my old ones, I just didn't trust them anymore. These are probably the original, so went ahead and I've been kind of waiting on these to show up today just so I didn't have to worry about it. The other thing we want to do is we want to put a little bit of gasket maker on the outside here to just make sure we got a good seal when we go in. So we'll just put a little bit of gasket maker on that. And I'll just kind of smear that in. Grab my new bolts and we'll go ahead and install this. Okay, that should help you see it a little better. So I got that kind of cleaned up there, and I'm just going to go ahead and reverse what I did pulling it off here and put this on now. That way I know it's a good fit. The other thing that I need to do is run this ahead of time to just get it, make sure that it gets by. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through. Put that on there. It's a little harder with these gloves on, so I'm just going to pull those off. It's all pretty clean now. So now that it's on there, I just need to take this clamp, make sure you get over that hump right there, tighten this one down. This one. And there. Tighten this one down. Then we got to replace this fuel line. Down. And then so now all we need to do is top it off with some coolant and give her a test run. So you can see new thermostat's in, new bolts are in. You can see a little bit of the gasket maker popping out, but we should be pretty good. Okay, so we're going to turn on the battery and let's give her a test run. See how she does. So I got the carburetor to replace and do some work on. I think I'm going to do a conversion on my disc brakes. or all my drum brakes to disc brakes, and we'll see you on the next video. If you haven't done so already, click like and subscribe. Bye.